Sir John Houghton is former head of the British Meteorological Office. Today, he campaigns worldwide against climate change.
There's a tremendous moral imperative presented by the climate change, what we know about climate change. A moral imperative particularly for the rich world. Because here are we've grown rich and wealthy over 200 years by burning coal and oil and gas. We've had cheap energy, that's why we're wealthy. That's where most of our wealth has come from. We now realise, we didn't before, the damage it's beginning to cause. Christians in particular have to understand that, because loving your neighbour and taking care of God's creation, because it isn't just the poorer people who will suffer, it's also the creation. We're going to lose lots of species. So we've got to really take that on board and say, God cares about them, and we should care about them too.
Theologians say science can help in this task, but cannot get to the heart of the problem. For them, that remains the problem of the human heart.
When Time magazine comes up with a cover several months back with the little iceberg and the multiple flags stuck into this iceberg and the tagline being, "Who owns the Arctic?" Because now this ice floe has melted, which is the size of California and Texas together this year. And instead of just grieving the loss of that and the impact of that on a planet, and what would we need to stop doing radically or start doing radically so that that would never happen again? Instead, it's all about the fact that now you can actually access oil, where before you couldn't because it was covered by ice. And so all of these countries come to claim rights to these oil fields now that exist under the ocean that you couldn't get to before. And to have to sort of hold this up to my students and say, do you get it? That we are responsible for this.
For scientist believers then, Bible and biology must meet if we're to address this problem. The state of our planet is raising critical questions of responsibility.
When we go back to Genesis and the command that we've given, I mean, God doesn't give us the command, get everything right about the age of the earth or exactly what happens in biology. That's not the command we have, actually. The command we have is to look after the earth, to be good stewards of the earth, to care for the earth in the right kind of way.